again, welcome to this live event. My goal today is to give you some good reason to take this final effort to complete the program. So the first reason is that you have invested a lot of effort, a lot of time. I hope you have learned a lot till this point. You have completed 5 SCX courses. And now you are just at the end of this journey. And I really want you to take this final stretch, this final push in order to complete the MicroMaster credential in supply chain management. So you are at this very end. What you need now is just to prepare, study, take the CFX, and pass the CFX. And then you will be ready to earn the MicroMaster credential. The MicroMaster credential by itself is a standalone certificate with value by itself, but it is also a pathway to apply for a master's degree here at MIT and also at other universities that are recognizing the MicroMaster credential as a pathway for credit. So let me go a bit more deep into these reasons in order to convince you to take this last effort. So most of our learners are using this credential in order to advance in their professional career. Some of them are just trying to promote in their current job. Some of them are trying to apply for a new job in the supply chain management field. We also have companies like GE, they are offering interviews to MicroMaster holders in supply chain management here in Massachusetts. So we really want to, and we are very happy to have this connection with the industry, with the companies hiring our MicroMaster credentials in supply chain management. And I know that most of you, as soon as you earn the credential, you post in LinkedIn and you announce it. And this is something that is, we're all here, the whole team, very happy when we see these things. The most important thing of our program is our learners. I'm also very happy when I learn how our learners are using the MicroMaster credential. We have many different examples. We have Will from Australia. Will came to the bootcamp in 2018, and he shared with us a nice story, and he said, hey, I was working in a different field. Thanks to the MicroMaster credential, I moved into the supply chain management field. Now I'm managing a team in this area that he's very happy about that. Miriam, she applied also for the master blended degree here at MIT. She got the credential in 2017. She graduated last June 2019 here at MIT, and now she's starting a new job in Germany in supply chain management. So we have many different examples. I'm also very excited to have today 2 special guests. We have with us today Liz Shafir. Liz completed her MicroMaster credential in May 2017. She is part of the first MicroMaster cohort, and Liz also applied to the blended master degree last year, and she graduated last June 2019. So Liz, thank you so much for agreeing to being with us today. Please, I want you to introduce yourself, explain and share with our learners why you enroll in the MicroMaster credential, why you decide to continue with the blended master degree, and a bit of your personal story and personal experience through this long journey. So Liz, please join us and share with us your experience. We are going to unmute you. And let's see, 1 second. So yeah, let's see if we can give you and share with you the floor.
Okay.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Eva, Dave, thank you so much for inviting me, for allowing me to share my story. So as Eva already mentioned, I started my MicroMasters program back in January 2016. It's like was 3.5 years ago. And when I started the program, I didn't really think about going to MIT. I just wanted to learn, and I wanted to have a challenge for myself, food for thought, and I wanted to learn new things. I worked in supply chain management. I didn't even think about career advancement at that time. I just wanted to learn. But finally, I got significantly more than I expected. So I definitely got challenge and knowledge, but also I felt that I became a part of the community. So this was the thing I really didn't expect, but due to all these webinars and video calls and group chats, Facebook, LinkedIn, I really felt that I was a part of MIT. And after 5 courses, I didn't even think about not taking the final exam.
Yeah.
It was the last step, and there was so many reasons to do that. First, I just wanted to complete this journey. Without exam, it didn't feel complete. And when I finished 5th course, many people were congratulating me, like, congrats, you completed the program. And I was replying, but I didn't actually complete it yet. I still need to take an exam. And I didn't feel that the journey was over until I took the final exam. The second reason for me to take an exam was, again, I didn't think at that time about applying to on-campus program, but I knew that if ever I decide to apply, I need this certificate to be ready. And also I knew that at that time, it was the most easiest time for me to pass an exam when all knowledge is fresh. 1 year later or 2 years later, I would have to study all over again to complete the exam. And at that time, all my knowledge was like fresh. Yeah, and when I completed the program, I didn't apply to blended program. I had so many other things going on in my life. But 1 year later, I decided that I was ready to apply, and I had my certificate ready. So I needed only to complete all other parts of application, and I applied. And I graduated this June, so just 3 months ago. Yeah, thank you. And I'm absolutely sure that I wouldn't be where I am now without this program. So this is 100% sure from myself.
Yes, tell us a bit of your background. Where are you working now, Liz?
So a little about background. So I'm originally from Russia, and when I started MicroMasters program, I was back in Moscow. During 1.5 years when I was taking it, I moved to United States. So there was a big journey and life change event in my life. And now I'm at Google in California, and I got the job through on-campus recruiting.
Awesome. Awesome. This is a great story. I'm very happy to hear from you that at some point you were considering not to take the CFX. I know that we have a lot of learners that at some point is now I need to take the CFX, but we really encourage all of you to take the CFX to complete the program so you have the credential and you can use for many different purposes. Yes. And this is what we want you to have, the credential, and then you will decide for which purpose are you going to use this credential. Thank you so much, Liz, for sharing your experience. That's great. And we also have with us Maria Barba. Maria is originally from Spain. She's living in Denmark now. She completed the MicroMaster credential in May 2017. She's also part of the first MicroMaster holders cohort. After that, she completed a master degree in Denmark. Currently, she's working in a company in Denmark, and she attended to the bootcamp recently last July. So Maria Barba, thank you for joining us today also. Please share with us a bit of your background and most important thing, why you decide to enroll in the MicroMaster credential, but also why you decide to do the final effort to complete the CFX.
Do we know her username?
Let's see.
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Hi, Maria Barba. Now you are on mute.
Good.
Awesome. Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Hi, Emma. Hi, David. My pleasure to be here. Yeah, so as you said, I'm from Spain, and I started my journey many years ago. Like most of you, I guess, I came across with MicroMasters because I wanted to learn. Like Liz said, I was eager to learn something else, and I was doing my last semester of my bachelor's in Madrid, studying engineering, and I thought I had some free time while writing my thesis, so I might as well go on in the EDX and find a great course. And then fundamentals came across. And I started and immediately started getting value out of that. And, you know, one course after the other, then I ended up in May 2017 having completed all the courses. And I did consider, should I take the exam now? Should I wait? So I was one of those that were actually thinking about it. But I'm so happy that I did it back in that time. Like Liz said, the knowledge is fresh. Like if you've gone through the courses and you've passed them, you have the knowledge and you're ready to take it. It just needs a little bit of effort to like tie a nice bow around all the time and spending that you've done. I think it felt also really good, like Liz said, that you feel that you've completed a program and it's no longer 5 courses, but it's actually something that ties together. And it felt good to prove myself that I could do it and I would pass. And now I'm thinking about applying to the blended program, but I didn't even think about it then that much, I think. And of course, as you said, I think the MicroMasters is getting more and more recognition. And for me, when I was looking for jobs here in Denmark, it allowed me to start a conversation about supply chain and actually prove that I have an interest in this if I was spending my free time on this, right? And also talk about all that I have learned through the MicroMasters. So it was definitely worth it, and I encourage everyone to just go for it and go take it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maria and Liz, for sharing your experience. So we are going to come back to more benefits. Yes, so then. Also, one thing that our learners really appreciate, and especially when you complete the whole program, is to be part of our global professional community. And here I need to say thank you to Arthur Grau and Sam Varney. They are our community managers, and they are doing a great job trying to post any job opening, trying to create any meetup group, trying to create this community of SCX learners and MicroMaster holders. Also, is more and more active the open at MIT.edu. This is the MIT supported community for MicroMaster holders. And I really encourage you to be part of this MicroMaster portal and join this open MIT edu channel. So this is another benefit. I'm very happy today to announce, let's say in this term, to pre-announce a huge benefit for MicroMaster holders.
This is the first public statement, right?
That's correct. This is the first public statement. I want to share with you that all of the MicroMaster holders, but this is only a benefit for credential holders, can be part and join and be an affiliate to the MIT Alumni Association. I need to say here a big thank you to Krishna Rajapjopal. He is a professor at MIT. He's the Dean of Digital Learning, and he really advocates for that, and he did a lot of effort in order to make this possible. Thank you also to the MIT Alumni Association to recognize the MicroMasters holders as an affiliate member of their association. And there are many different benefits. These benefits are going to take place this fall. This is happening this fall, but I want to announce now because I really want to give you more reasons to take this final step and to make the effort to prepare, study, and complete and pass the CFX. And some of the benefits are going to be part of a directory that is dedicated only for MITx MicroMaster holders. MicroMaster holders in the different MicroMasters program, SCM, data science, economics, and the different MicroMasters program. Also, you will gain access to selected journals through the MIT library online, and also be contacted by the association for certain events. So I think this is a great opportunity take it as a, I don't know how to say that, but take it as a something to motivate you to prepare the CFX. Those that are going to be MicroMaster holders, you will receive specific emails with all of the details about this huge benefit.
Access to the library, I think, is really exciting for a lot of the learners who I'm close with, you know, because I know you're curious and you're interested in the cutting edge of research and simulation and optimization. And a lot of that knowledge is stored in academic journals that are prohibitively expensive to get if you're not part of an academic program like this one. So really excited to be able to share that with all of you.
Yeah, we're very excited. Something to come this fall, and you will receive a specific email. And I hope that you that are now eligible to the CFX, after you complete the program, you are going to be also part of this great community. Awesome. So let me go also into the academic advancement benefit. One of the huge benefits of being a MicroMaster holder is that you can apply to the MIT master degree in supply chain management. We call this program the Master Blended Degree here at MIT. So the MicroMaster credential is by itself a standalone certificate, but it's also a certificate, a credential that allows you to apply exclusively to this Master Blended Degree at MIT. We are very fortunate to have today with us Dr. Maria Jesus Sáenz. Maria, she is the Executive Director of the Blended Program here at MIT. And I want Maria to join us today and share with you the benefits and some of the opportunities to be part of the Blended Master Degree. Hi, Maria, and thank you for joining us today.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to take part of this great webinar. We are all excited about these next steps, about growing the family of MicroMaster holders. And as Eva mentioned, is another, reason why you should take your CFX, right? So, you will be eligible. Once you will get your MicroMaster certificate, you will be eligible to apply to the MIT Blended Master Program. It's an MIT degree, right? The same degree that the residential students are taking. So they are, following 9 months here at MIT, but in your case, you will spend 5 months here with us. Why? Because we are waived the full term by your MicroMaster credential. This is the idea. It is a Master of Applied Science. So it's a great curriculum when you will be able to apply all your knowledge from the MicroMaster into different kind of experiential learning opportunities through the different electives, through the different courses, through the final capstone master capstone project or master thesis. So then working with different companies, getting a lot of opportunities for recruiting, as Liz mentioned. Liz is a great role model for you because then she was the president of our last class. And thank you again, Liz, for all your effort and your commitment, both with MicroMaster and with the Blended. So in a nutshell, you have here, the class at MIT once they graduated in May, right? So from January to May, you will enroll, join us here in campus at MIT. You will join a classmate of around 40 very brilliant students from the Blended, but also another 40 from the residential path. It means that you will have classmates of 80 students. The average is around 8 years of supply chain management experience, which is really great in order to show the quality and the engagement of the students. So it's an MIT degree from a top research university, of course, that is very well recognized by companies. Companies that are working with us, that will visit our campus for recruiting and also for giving their cases and giving their insights. We are talking about Google, as Liz mentioned, but Apple, Amazon, Adidas, Wayfair, different retailers like Wayfair, Walmart, some consultancy companies like KPMG or McKinsey. And then the story of our students is that they are, being promoted along all these different career paths. And actually then, for example, if we measure in terms of the average salary, our master program has an outcome the salaries, average salaries of $126,000 US average, plus a bonus of 23,000 US dollars. So this is very good incentive, right? To follow the MicroMaster and then to jump into the blended. The experience at MIT is different. As you have experience with a MicroMaster, is a different online education in terms of how you challenge the program, how do you experience the different concepts. So it's the same when you come here physically on campus. The way of understanding the problems, the entrepreneur culture is different than if you compare with other programs with other campuses. And this is why MIT is so well recognized from companies. And of course, you will join when you will be graduated by our MIT Master Blended Program, then you will join the MIT Supply Chain Management Alumni Network of more than 750 students who are now in top positions, that some of them, even they are CEOs of big companies. So you will belong to this family. You can, work with them from many different angles in all the events that we are promoting after getting your graduation. I think that these are another, 5 reasons just to take the, again, I will be here for if you have whatever kind of last question, but the main point is to take the CFX. Thank you.
Well, one question, Maria, we got a question from Nikhil. All of you viewers, thank you for sending us your questions. He wanted to ask you, Nikhil wanted to ask you, sorry, if Nikhil applies for the blended program by November 1st, when would Nikhil start at MIT, assuming they were accepted?
Yeah, good question. Actually, you will start in August of 2020. Because we start with all the capstone projects, some additional online and some additional webinars in order to work during the fall term. And physically, you will join here at MIT in January of 2021.
Right? Thank you, Maria, and thank you, Nikhil.
Yeah, we will encourage to apply to November the 1st. Yeah.
Thank you to both. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Okay, in addition to apply to MIT, there are 21 universities now offering also a pathway to different master's degrees in supply chain management. These are universities located in different countries and continents. We have universities in Australia, we have universities in Latin America, we have universities in Europe. Zaragoza Logistics Center is also offering a blended program. Malaysia is offering an accelerated way to earn a master's degree if you complete the MicroMaster credential. And we also have recently the announcement of Arizona, ASU. They are offering now a master online on edX as a pathway for MicroMaster holders. So if you complete the MicroMaster credential in supply chain management, you can apply to the online master degree in Arizona State University. So many different pathways, many different opportunities for MicroMaster holders. Finally, I want to mention also another blended offer that we are offering here at CTL. This is kind of a small pill. This is just for those who complete at least one SCX courses, SC1X, and also for those who are part of the SCX community of learners. You can apply to 6 days on campus. This is what we call the bootcamp. And last July, we host the last bootcamp in 2019. Maria Barba was part of this bootcamp. We are offering a very special discount for MicroMaster holders. So for MicroMaster holders, we are offering a $1,000 discount to attend to these 6 very intense days on campus, be exposed to the cutting edge technology from MIT researchers, be exposed to industry speakers, and a lot of interactive activities here on campus to take advantage again of the online education plus the benefits of the interaction on campus. So this is our goal, to provide different offers to you that are combining the best of both worlds, online and on campus. So now let's move to how to take the CFX, because this is the main point today. So Dave, please,
Sure.
Can you cover that?
My goal is just to give you some technical details to start. I know a lot of you have already logged into the course. You've seen some materials. So I'm just going to draw a few key points that I hope will help you have a successful path to completion. So it's pretty exciting for us. There's almost 1,500 people eligible and enrolled in the course right now from 96 countries. First thing I want to bring up is remember you need to verify by the 28th of August. A lot of people ask, how can I score as high as possible on the CFX? First for sure rule is take the exam. And to take the exam, you have to verify. So please keep that verification deadline in mind. It's just like verifying for other courses. There's a $200 fee. And I'm going to give one more slide about this, but you need to be ID verified. And there's some important notes there. One thing that people have asked about, is there a way to take it in person so that I don't have to go through virtual proctoring? The answer is no. Everything will be virtually proctored this time, just like last time. We've gone to a completely international and virtually proctored experience. So we're going to talk about some of that, and please bring your questions. I see, thank you, Kwong, for bringing one up. We're going to address that one. But the key thing is you will be proctored virtually. We need you to verify and ID verify, and this is why I bring that up. The exam opens September 13th and closes September 16th. Another key tip to get a great score is ID verify very, very early.
Yeah.
If you've experienced this before, you know that in the best case scenario, it takes 2 to 3 days. And oftentimes, my own experience included, if you fail the first one for even a good reason, in my case, my name is David, but I wrote Dave, and they failed me, then it takes 6 days because you have to try again. And so sometimes learners will think, okay, I'll ID verify on the 12th of September and then I'll take my exam. And we have very sad stories of people who can't take the test because they have not completed ID verification in time. So my first tip is if you have any time today, anytime tomorrow, go ahead and verify and ID verify, because that can take up to a week sometimes to have your identity completely verified. So you see there on your screen, you've got your green ID verification button. Go ahead and update there. Make sure your face is well lit. Take a great picture. No one will see it. It's just so they can confirm that it's you.
Yes, great advice, Dave. And as Dave mentioned, we had sad stories from learners. They couldn't take the CFX because of the ID verification. And unfortunately, if you are in this situation the day of the exam, we can't do anything. So please, 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 if you make the decision to take the CFX, verified and ID verified as soon as possible.
And make sure that your ID verification, if you've been going through with us from course to course, there is an expiration on the duration of that. So please double check that with edX. Make sure that your ID verification doesn't expire during the window 13 September to 16 September. I see a great question from Vishal Balani about changing states on their ID. I'm going to suggest that you ask edX. I don't think it should matter, but I don't want you to have any trouble. So please check with edX on that.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the test like? Some of you may have a sense of that, but if not, I want to give you in broad strokes what it's like. So you've taken quite a few courses, 5 courses. We're going to divide that content up into 2 exams, an exam 1 and an exam 2, and you have to take them in that order. So when you start, you will start with exam 1, and we're working on the exam right now, but typically, and I think it's fair to say for this exam too, for this exam also, exam 1 is about SC0x, SC1x, SC2x, some of those quantitative concepts that you learned in the beginning. Exam 2 is more about SC3x and SC4x. There can be some overlap.
Yes.
Hopefully there is, but thinking about managing your stress level and your efforts, think, all right, exam 1, that's when they're going to ask me about the equations and the solving things. In exam 2, that's when I'm going to do more of the 3x stuff and the 4x stuff that is maybe more reading longer texts and applying concepts. You have 2 hours to take each exam and 12 hours to get the whole thing done. So a couple points to bring up there. In those 2 hours, you cannot get up to go to the bathroom. We don't want you to take a break to drink water. I know that that's uncomfortable and unlike real life, but it's sort of a circumstance of offering an internationally well-respected and verified program that we ask for the 2 hours that you sit for the exam. You are in front of your camera the whole time. I know there's different situations that people have, but one of the consequences of offering this program at an affordable price to people all over the world is that we can't really tailor it to everyone's unique situation. So please do everything within your power to sit for those 2 hours and not get up. Do not leave camera view. If you have a medical exception to this, you probably already know how to do it, but reach out to us. If not, there's an office at edX that can work with you to help make the appropriate accommodations. I see a great question. Thank you, Kavita. Is the time limit sufficient or is it kind of tight? I would say we test it to be sufficient. Yes. So we make graphs and charts and statistical analysis after every exam to see how many people were able to complete before 2 hours, and we write it so that if you know the material, it's sufficient, but by no means easy. So that's our goal. But it is typically sufficient, and we work hard to make sure that that's the case.
Yeah.
One note I want to bring up technically, sometimes people have computers with 2 cameras, both one that faces you and one that can face out, particularly on some of the hinged devices. There's nothing in our software that will prohibit you from taking the exam with that. However, we want everyone to have the best experience possible, and we've had very sad stories where someone's proctoring goes to the wrong camera and just records an empty room for 2 hours. And in that case, we have to fail that person because we don't know that they didn't cheat. And we know we have hundreds of other people who confirm that didn't cheat, and we have to respect their efforts and kick out the person for whom we don't have accurate video evidence. So if you can avoid it, please do not use a camera or a device with multiple cameras where you cannot comfortably control which camera will be attached to proctoring. I want to talk about the prep material, and I've been observing your comments in the discussion. So I know you're seeing some of it, but let me talk about what we have if you haven't had a chance to take a look. You have a welcome to the CFX from Chris and from Ava. You have wrap-up videos where our team goes over sort of what we think are the key points, which you can infer as some likely testable material from the overviews on each of the courses. If you do nothing else, be sure to stop there and review those videos. And anything that doesn't make sense, that you don't remember, go back and look through your archived courses. Our questions are designed to be on par with what you've already seen in GAs and practice problems.
Yes. My recommendation is go through the pre-archived courses. Try again the graded assignment, the quick questions, in order to refresh those concepts in your mind. I really recommend you to go through the graded assignments and try to prepare for the CFX. Yeah.
The other thing I want to bring up, and this is a little bit in the details, but I just want you to have all the information to minimize this part of stress in your life. You have a practice test, which I think is super helpful for 2 reasons. One, you can practice the proctoring experience. You can make sure that the software downloads. You can see what the camera captures. It's, I think, very helpful to get yourself comfortable with proctoring so that that part of this whole experience doesn't hurt so much. However, please note that the practice proctored test closes before the actual CFX opens. What that means is that if you plan to take the test, say on the 15th, and you're thinking, oh, okay, then I'll do the practice on the 14th, that won't work. We close the practice test before the actual test opens to avoid the sad case that we've seen before, where people take the practice test, they think it's the real one, and then they have a 0. So we don't want that sad story for you. So please, as you plan your studying for the next several weeks, find time to do the practice proctor test before the actual exam opens. The other thing is that we have video recorded solutions to the practice problems. It's great. You can see how Ava would solve a problem from SC4X. You can see how Chris would solve a problem from SC1X. Super helpful, but we don't open that up until you've actually attempted all the problems. So I know that may be frustrating, but our own experience with learning and all of the research on learning suggests that you learn it better if you try, stress test your knowledge and see where it fails, and then get the answer, than if you just go straight to the answer. So the course is programmed or set up such that you need to try all the problems. It won't hurt your score at all if you don't do well. That'll show you where you need to shore up your knowledge, and then you can see the videos.
Yeah, and with the practice proctor test, we are covering two goals here. One is that you are through the experience of being proctoring and download the software and follow all of the steps you need to follow in the real environment. One, and the second goal is to expose you to some of the previous exam problems, so you can see the level of difficulty and the kind of problems we have been asking in previous exam. Having said that, the practice proctor test is not going to be exactly as your actual test in terms of number of questions and these kind of things. But at least we want to reproduce a similar environment in the whole experience through the steps you need to follow and exposed to some of the previous exam problems.
Let me take a second to answer a few questions. So a lot of you are asking about the key concept document. There's two things to talk about there. We'll talk about the technical issue that's come up in the forums in a second, but another great thing about the practice proctored test, it comes with a key concept document that should be virtually identical to the one that you will have access to when you take the exam. So I bring that up. You will have access to one during the exam, but that one will be watermarked and coded so that we know you are using the one that is approved for this exam, not your own. You cannot bring your own key concept document. But we've made one for your practice proctored test that should be exactly alike so that you're comfortable with working from it. Another question, is it based on both exams? Both exams, so you'll get a sense of the type of questions we ask about SC0 through 2 and 3 and 4.
Yes.
Some questions, is the current one the one that says summer 2018 at the bottom? I believe yes. Let me double check that, but if you got it through the practice proctored linked, it's the same. The content is the same. The question hasn't come up, but I wonder if that's what Deb was getting at. Is this backwards compatible? This exam basically is. We really tried to make sure that we don't ask anything that you wouldn't have seen if you took the courses a while ago.
However, as Dave mentioned, during the actual CFX, we will provide you the version of the key concept document that you need to use through the exam. Only you are allowed to use the one that we are going to provide you through the actual exam.
And let me just take a second to address the question from my friend Kwong, and I know some of you have it, about searching the key concept document inside of the Proctored browser. We'll come back to it at the end because it's a real question, but basically we're working on it. So the issue is, if you haven't seen it, some people have noted that the key concept document is not searchable inside the Proctored software. We're aware. Thank you for letting us know. We're going to work on that now, and we're going to get that solved. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
And we will post in the discussion forum, we will post the answer to that question. So everyone will have access to that.
Let me just address one or two more before going on. Does the proctoring software have problems with Skype or Slack?
Yes,
yeah. It does. So it's great to do the practice proctored. My experience when I sort of beta tested their software is that this version handles it well. It can kill the application on its own for you. You just have to give it that permission. So I think we're good, but you asked a great question, because people have been interrupted by those programs before and had trouble. I think this version should be good. Just make sure that you kill it when it asks.
Yes, and the recommendation is close, before starting the proctoring, close all of the applications that you have. Only open the browser and go through that. Close Slack, close Skype, because if not, you are going to, the proctoring software is going to identify that, and if you don't close it, it's going to, yeah, you are going to be out of the CFX. So close it, yes, please.
These questions are awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to answer one more and then move on, just because I want to make sure we get back to our learners and get you those tips. And any question that we don't get to here, email it to us. The team will get back to you. The question, and we get this a lot, is about software that you need. You should be able to do everything with Excel.
Yeah.
So speaking, 4X, the course that I worked with many of you on, you won't need MySQL. You won't need Orange. You won't need any logic. this is an exam that can be completed in Excel or an Excel equivalent software package.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move ahead just so we make sure we have everything. It's open from 13 September to 16 September. That's 72 hours. And we're going to stay awake for most of it. Ava, myself, our team.
It's going to be intense. Yeah, we know.
It is intense. We schedule ourselves 24 hours a day for that time to respond as quickly as possible to you. So, you know, please let us know if anything comes up, and you can expect responses within minutes, if not faster. Pass bar is 60% across both exams, and the next live event will share some results, but a lot of people pass. I think it was something like 80% last time. We'll show you exact results. So it's challenging, but not impossible. And then someone asked about how long it will take to see results, and I think about a month.
Yeah, about a month. But having said that, we always need to schedule that because, you know, this is a proctored exam, so we need to go through the grades by itself and the analysis of the grades, but we also need to deal with all of the proctoring feedback. So that's why we always said within a month. However, we are always trying our best to release the certificates earlier than that. Last time, I think we did within 2 weeks.
Yep. We go as fast as we possibly can.
We are scheduled to do that as soon as possible.
And thank you for the note that says we're building up the tension. We're trying to relieve stress, not cause it, but side effect. Okay, let's, you've heard a lot from us, but I think probably what would be really valuable is to hear from people like Liz and Maria who did great on this exam, and they can give you real advice on how to do great. Why don't we start with Liz?
Yeah. Schaffer.
Okay.
Please, you're on mute now.
Yeah.
Great.
So several things from my side about CFX. First, take it and take it preferably right after you finish the last course. It will be easier because everything is fresh in your minds. Second thing is about key concept document. Issue researching was already discussed, but anyway, with regard searching, you need to be familiar with the document. So if you didn't use it during courses, read it or look it through, just you know what you're looking for, you know where to search it. And also key concept document is a short version. It doesn't have everything. So you need to have an idea what is inside, what isn't there, and what is not. So that thing I would do first is just get familiar with key concept document. And in terms of preparation, what I personally did is I took again all practice and quick questions. So I didn't watch videos and didn't read anything else and didn't read slides if I felt that I can answer easily all these questions. So just I didn't spend time on that. But the moment I faced the question I was struggling with, that video or slide I was rewatching, but it may be like only 1 minute, you need to refresh. So that's what I did. I took again all quick questions and practice problems from all courses. And awesome. I did good in my exam.
Awesome, that's great, great advice.
And maybe last thing about 2 different exams. So one of them, at least when I took exam, was more quantitative and one was more qualitative. And many people, I believe, would think that the qualitative part would be easier than quantitative, but for me it was opposite, because as for a non-native speaker, to read all their like mini cases took a lot of time. So for quantitative part, I was done significantly earlier, so like out of 2 hours. I think I finished within 1 hour, maybe 1 hour something. But for second part of them, I spent all 2 hours because I just needed more time to read everything and to understand question and to make an answer. So 2 hours is generally enough. Just like you know yourself better, maybe be conscious about time allocation, and if you need more time to read, so second part maybe more challenging than quantitative part.
Yeah. Okay, great advice.
Maria, would you share with the learners how you did so well?
Sure. I'm just gonna add on what Lee said, because I agree with everything that she said. For me, it was very important to have a plan of what I was studying, especially because I was also dealing with my exams for my masters. So you know, plan and keep track of what you're doing, and also let's say build from the foundation. For me, it was very important to, you know, make sure that the foundation is firm, that you know the basic knowledge, and then you build on that. And if you see some flaws, then you can focus on that. Don't think that it's going to be over complicated, but you need to make sure that you understand the basics, I think. And then I did go through the slides, not through the videos, but through all the slides. And I also did the problems. That was very important to see where were my flaws and where did I need to focus. Then there is time, but it's good to train. So when I was doing the problems, then I was in a, you know, exam mode. So I would time myself, and I would make sure that I was managing how much time it was taking me, because I'm also not a native speaker, so it also requires more time to read all the text. And then I think just, you know, as Lee said, go for it. Believe in yourself, because the knowledge is there if you've gone through the courses, and enjoy it. For me, it was just fun, because I really like it. And now that I work with it, I see that all the knowledge that I've acquired and going through a test was also part of the learning experience. So just go.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great. So yeah, so I think for you guys, now it's time to read the instructions, go through the frequently asked questions, reach out to us if you have any further questions to the cfx at mit.edu email account, and we will be monitoring this email account. Best of luck. I really hope you spend the time to work on that, to prepare the CFX and to pass it. I really want to see you in our congratulations event and congratulate you all about this effort.
And this gets to, I think, Kavita's question, how do we contact you if something comes up and we're taking the test? This email address is the way to do it. Every single member of our team will have access to this email address, both on our computers and on our phones. And we schedule shifts throughout the 72 hours to be quickly responsive. So if something comes up, this is the best way to let us know.
Yeah, definitely plan in advance. Plan in advance, schedule for this as your slot. Be sure that you are going to have a good internet connectivity. Be sure that you are not going to run out of power. Be sure about all of the things that you can plan in advance. Be sure that you are the only person in that room. You are not going to be interrupted by other person. Read all of the instructions and try to meet all of the requirements and follow all of the rules. Yeah, try to plan in advance. If something happened, immediately reach out to us to the CFX help email account. This is the best advice we can give to you. Plan in advance, every single thing should work smoothly. If you have any issue, communicate with us immediately. Good, and after the CFX, we will ask you to keep in touch with us. As I mentioned, Arthur Grau, Sam Varney, our community managers, they are creating this amazing community of MicroMaster holders through the MicroMaster portal, through open@mit.edu. We really want you to keep in touch with us, with any news, with any comment about this amazing field that is supply chain management. That is the thing that we have all in common. So just encourage you to be in touch with us. Best of luck for this CFX. Let's see if we have time for any final questions. Do we have?
Yeah,
Sure.
I've been monitoring your questions. And again, if we don't get to your question, please send it in. But just a few, I'll ask the expert executive director, Dr. Ponce, and you can share your thoughts. Someone asked, what do I do if there's a power outage while I'm taking the exam? So
this is a very bad situation. This is one of the worst situations, to be out of power, out of internet. So my recommendation is plan in advance. book for a slot that you can ensure that we are going to have this internet connectivity, this power, all of the things you need. This is an online program, so there are things that are mandatory. You need to have a computer or a laptop, you need to have internet connectivity, you need to have power. This is mandatory in order to complete that. Having said that, if anything happened, as I mentioned, send a note immediately to the CFX email account.
I'm going to address the next one just because many of you took a proctored exam with me just a few months ago, and this is something that came up. For our learners in China, RP Now and PSI, the companies that we work with for proctoring software, work with another company that may have trouble, you may have trouble accessing from China. We have many students who found success by using a VPN to make that connection. So if that's something you're familiar with, I advise you to take that same strategy for the CFX. And if you're not, please send us a message and we'll try to help you figure that out. The next one, people ask about feedback while they're taking the exam.
Good question, great question. So during the exam, we are not, during or after the exam, we are not providing any feedback. So you will not see any green check or red check about if your answer is correct or incorrect. You are going just to see that you have submitted your answer. Be sure that you submit all of your answers, and before ending the exam, go through all of the questions and be sure that you have submitted, because if you only enter the solution and you do not submit, we are not going to have any record about your solution. So submit it. The only information you are going to have is you have been submitted your answer. We are not providing any feedback during or after the exam. Having said that, what I can assure you is that we, the whole team here, we are going to review all of the answers. We are going to analyze all of the solutions, all of the grades, and we are doing always a debrief and a deep analysis about grades. And if we identify any issue or any learner bring to us something, we definitely look at these things. So we definitely review all of the things. We double check, triple check the platform. However, we are not sharing any feedback during or after the exam. If you have any concern, send a note to us through the CFX help email account. We will review any concern you might have.
Question about how long should people expect to get a reply from CFX help?
So CFX help. So we know that 72 hours is a critical window. We are trying our best. Typically, we provide 24 hours of response. In the CFX, I think I can say is much less than that. Oh, yeah. Is much less than that. So I think you can expect some reply from us in maximum 4 hours. I think it's reasonable to say. Maximum, yeah. The most maximum is around 4 hours. Having said that, one thing that you need to take into consideration, and because we analyze our data, we know that most of you take the exam at the very end of the 72 hours. So please keep in mind that we can do what we can do. But if you are taking the exam 2 hours or 4 hours before the deadline, there is no buffer for us to fix anything. So my recommendation is don't wait to the last minute, because if you take it before the deadline, we have more time to fix anything in case we need to do that. So if you decide to take the exam 4 hours before the deadline, you know that if you have any problem, you need to deal with that. There's no way for us to fix anything in the last 4 hours.
That's a great call. And another sort of easy, cheap shot to get a high score that I would share with you is that if you take it at the beginning of the 72 hours and you have a problem, I guarantee Ava and I will talk for hours if need be about how to solve it for you before the exam closes. And we'll do what we can if it's reasonable. However, if we don't learn about your problem till after the exam closes, we cannot give anyone access to an exam once it closes. So if we don't know about your problem till the end of the time window, the only thing that can happen is that you can try again in March. Yeah. So another thing that you can do to maximize your chances of success, if it works with your schedule, is to take the exam early, just in case there's a problem. You have us working to fix it before the exam is over.
Yeah.
Okay, rapid fire answering a few questions. Is there partial credit for multiple choice problems? Yes, just like what you've seen in your midterms and exams. Will the second live event contain additional information? Some, but I think you have what you need with this one. So I don't think you need to take time off of work or reschedule your wedding to make it. But we'll share more accurate information about recent grades and a little bit more there. Special software, I mentioned we're not using MySQL or Orange, for example, from Forex. The learner asked, should we skip them? I wouldn't skip them because we could still conceivably ask you something conceptual related to structured query language or something conceptual related to machine learning algorithms. MySQL, SAS, or Orange were the tools you used to apply those, but you don't want to completely overlook those ideas. Anything, last messages for the learners?
I think the last message is, now it's time to prepare for the CFX, to study, to review the material. I like the different approaches that Liz and Maria share. There are different strategies, both of them very successful. So go through the slide, go through the graded assignment or practice problem, but make your plan. Keep in track, study, prepare, take it, and hopefully you are going to be in a good shape to pass it. Best of luck for this exam, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you, and Mustafa, I will check on the lighting.
Yes,
Thank you very
so
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Recording.